espero que nadie se ofenda, pero hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Aparece na esquerda, vai romper a área, lá está ele, Dário Núñez para cá, para lá, passou, tirou,
Só nós sentimos isso.
Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending when you're watching us. For those watching us live, good evening. Today we have episode 73, one word, OTAMENDI in capital letters, off the back of a 0-0 draw at the Camp Nou against Barcelona. Today we have Bill, we have Oscar is back from his Rio de Janeiro escapade. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good.
Could be better today, but good overall.
Oscar, we're going to start with give us a little snippet of how your trip was to Brazil. And were you able to negotiate a contract for JJ to go back?
I'll tell you guys one thing. I kind of felt a little bit like, man, am I the only one that thinks this guy is not good? Like, everybody in Brazil loves him. Everybody. Like you even like fans that don't even know that much soccer, they know Jesus. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, why come these people praise him and I'm here hating on him every single week? I'm like, what is something? It has to be me. It has to be me because but
bro, we've been trying to tell you that for years.
No, but the thing is, I don't forgive that quick.
That's fair.
And that's my thing. I just have this whole thing about the way he left. But obviously you can't deny he's a good coach. He's a coach that likes to win. But man, I was impressed with how like everybody's like, hey, if Jesus was here, Flamengo wouldn't be playing this kind of stupid ass game that they're playing right now. And then we went to a sushi bar, and the game was on, and I think it was a game they tied 2-2. One of the last games they tied 2-2, and man, they were shitting on the coach. This guy Renato Augusto thought he came in. He's like, oh, he got the best players. Look what he does now I think it was against Chapa, and they tied 2-2. And Chapa's in last place. They like horrible this year. And like, look at this guy talks about Jesus. Jesus was here. They wouldn't play like this. I'm like, wow. I'm like, maybe it's me, man.
Did you go to did you watch a game at the Maracanã?
We went to the outside of the stadium, but we didn't go in. We couldn't get tickets because they had needed COVID tests to get into the stadium. We had a vaccine. We tried to go like twice, 2 games we tried to go to.
Yeah. How's the stadium look on the outside?
Dirty.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old stadium, so I'm not surprised.
I mean, they remodeled it for the Olympics and the World Cup.
Yeah, but everything else outside, it's
I mean, the guys shared pictures of us with the Camp Nou today, right? And the pictures on the inside, it's just an old school, like think of Gillette Stadium, Foxborough Stadium, like just cement slabs, old stuff, right? So I guess I'm not surprised. Well, glad you made it out of the favela safe. You didn't get captured there, so good to know. And I'm sure you brought back a good quantity of Havaianas as well.
Oh, yes, I did. 20 pairs.
Damn. Holy shit. You're going to resell them on the black market here.
Traficante.
Damn. That's a lot. So for today we got, and just before we start, para a malta que está a ver, amanhã temos o podcast em português às 20h30 hora de Lisboa, por isso se quiserem seguir amanhã no nosso podcast, também estão, podem acompanhar hoje, será em inglês, mas podem deixar os comentários no nosso chat em português, que nós percebemos e traduzimos, mas amanhã teremos o podcast em português com a malta lá de Portugal a partir das 20h30. Today, Benfica 4, Paços 1, Barcelona 0, Benfica 0. We'll talk about Yaremchuk's goal drought. We could talk a little bit about OTAMENDI's gladiator performance, if you will. And then we'll finish the podcast with the Fora do Contexto, in terms of just a few videos that, end on a positive note. And I saw your message, Bill. Let me just add the comments here. Guess and see comments. Okay. So we'll start with Benfica 4, Paços 1. We'll touch on it quickly. We don't have to go in too much depth about it, but Benfica started with starting lineup was Elton Late, Morato, Vertonghen, and Almeida. Grimaldo, Jetson came back into the team. Julian Weigl, Radonjic, Everton, Darwin, and Rafa Silva. A game that I think that we all agreed in the conversation that it had a lot of Portimonense flashbacks. Benfica had 2 or 3 clear-cut chances in the first half. Finished the game with 63% possession, 61% possession in the first half. 3 shots on target the first half, and those 3 were pretty good chances to score. We didn't score. Paços comes down in the second half, scores essentially on their only chance, and then it took a miraculous and a superb free kick from Grimaldo late in the match to kind of unlock things, or at least kind of project us to the victory. I guess just quickly on this, Oscar, I'll start with you. Do you get the sense that, right, we scored a lot of goals against Braga, right? But we scored early, but then it took a little bit for the engine to get going. And then once we got going, right, we got on a momentum. Against Paços was similar, right? It took that goal, right? You felt like it was coming, right? But it seems like either we're super efficient or we struggle to be efficient, right? And today could have been an example of that. But kind of thoughts on the game, and is that a concern? Like, it seems like we don't have a middle, right? It's either 0 or 100.
Yeah, I think you're right, because Benfica starts off the games, and if they don't score right away, I feel like they'll be there the whole day without scoring. Then if they score 1 goal, and usually it's been happening late in the game or whatnot, then it's like it breaks everything just goes in. Like in that, what's scaring me right now with Benfica playing against teams like Paços Ferreira, Moreirense, is our strikers not taking advantage of their opportunities. That can lose our campeonatos, that can lose our taças, that can lose a lot of stuff. And that's what's been happening lately is our 3 forwards are in a drought. And not only Yaremchuk, but Seth just came back, but Gonçalo Ramos hasn't scored a goal. And he scores goals like for fun for U21, which is like surprising to me that that guy cannot get 1 goal. So it's just to me it's been a little bit scary to see that Benfica can't start a game, score, dominate, and score again, and dominate and score again. It's been like struggling to get that first goal. It's scary to me. I
agree. Bill, what do you think about it?
What's concerning to me is, and we've seen it over the course of the season so far, is against these teams that are going to sit back and not really play toe-to-toe, that's when Benfica struggles, right? They struggle breaking down those teams that are going to sit with 10, 11 guys behind the ball. And we see a game like today against Barcelona, and we go into it and we essentially can keep possession against a Barcelona team that's known for possession, right? But against Paços Ferreira, we struggle to break down anything because they're just sitting back, and we've seen it a few times this season. I mean, the game against Braga came in with their normal game plan, right? They didn't come in to sit back and defend. They came in to attack and play their style, and we we're able to take advantage of that. And against Paços and other teams that are just going to sit back, we struggle to break those tight lines. And like Oscar said, it's concerning when your strikers, the few chances they do get, they can't put them away. And we saw that in the first half against Paços, right? Darwin had one and Rafa had one that should have easily gone in. There's no reason why they shouldn't have scored those.
But does it give you, flipping the coin on the other side, does it give you, I guess, some comfort to see that, right, throughout the season, players are going to go through these droughts, right? They're going to go through lulls where they score a lot and then, they might go a couple games not scoring. Does it give you confidence to say that, okay, when our strikers don't score, I feel comfortable enough to know that we have goals somewhere else in the squad? Or do you not feel that comfort? I'll go back to you, Bill. Right, like Lucas Vinicius, who scored us a couple of goals at the beginning of the season.
Of course, you're gonna throughout the season you're gonna get a few from other players, but the majority of your goals are gonna come from your strikers, and it's when they all go cold at the same time, that's when it's like, what the fuck's going on, right? You would expect of the 4 strikers we have, at some point, one might go cold, but someone else might get hot, but it just seems like at the moment right now, Rafa's in a cold streak, Darwin's in a cold streak, Yaremchuk is fucking frozen at this point. Like that's what it's concerning. It's not just one of our strikers going cold; it's our 3 main ones right now.
I would disagree on the Rafa being.
He scored last week against
today. He definitely was a bystander.
Today he was a shadow of himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Oscar, do you have any comfort that we have goals elsewhere? I still continue to say that one of the biggest concerns that I have is we don't have goals for midfield.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. I was going to mention that. Like we have goals from our center backs, which is Verissimo, OTAMENDI gets in there. Like we have those guys that can come up and score a goal. We look at Sporting, who scores most of their goals when they're in the struggle. It's Coates, right? Yep. So it's not even a midfielder or a striker. But the thing is, and I don't mean to bring Pizzi back into the conversation, but
I was going to mention him though.
But previous years when Pizzi was hot, when our strikers went cold, we had our midfield players that could come in and score goals. We had Pizzi being the goal scorer of the Benfica for one of the years, 3 years ago. He was the goal scorer for Benfica playing behind the striker or as an attacking midfielder. So, what's concerning to me is João Mário is not a scorer. Weigl is not a scorer. Drought, even if the net's open, he'll pass it across.
Yep.
So we don't have the midfield guys that come in or play the most of the game that score goals. So we have to depend on our strikers at the time. It's either Seferovic, if it's Yaremchuk, if it's Darwin, and then usually our wingers, Everton or Darwin or whatnot, Everton or Rafa, because Rafa's not a striker. He scores a lot of goals for us, but his job is not to be a goal scorer. So we can't put it on Rafa. We have to put it on our strikers. And obviously, everybody has to chip in. And at this case, Everton is starting to chip in, and Rafa has been doing most of the work.
Yeah, I think Nelson makes a good point here. In this formation and in the style we're playing, those midfield 2 aren't necessarily getting into positions to score too often.
But they're not. I agree with that, right? But I don't, because Weigl's not. Even though they're not making those late runs into the box, Weigl's not a guy that's going to get assists. João Mário's not a guy that gets assists. Even at Sporting, right? He wasn't a guy that really got assists or got involved in the play, right? That's just the type of player that they are, right? They're not a Pizzi, right? As an example, where he'll make those late runs into the box. He'll appear in areas that he gives himself an opportunity to score. He's a good in that final 15 yards. He's capable of making the right decision, right? Whereas a Weigl is more likely to lay the ball off. A João Mário is more likely to lay the ball off. A Drought is more likely to lay the ball off, right? Those guys don't have that instinct of like a Bruno Fernandes, right? Just pull the trigger, right? And just let it fly. A Pot, who's not a striker, right? Let's pull the trigger and see what happens, right? And I think that's the difference is they're a different mold of a midfielder. But I agree with Oscar. I think that's one of the biggest concerns that I have. And I mentioned it earlier in the season is we seem to have goals in different areas at different times, but we don't have goals from the midfield, which worries me a little bit, right? I feel like being dependent on the center backs or the defenders to score is a big risk, right? Whereas if you get your midfielders can score goals, right? They're going to be more likely to score goals from the run of play, not from a set piece, right? Like Sporting is a good example, right? They're very good at it, right? So every time they get a set piece, it's dangerous, right? We're not that type of team, right? So when you're not that type of team, you need to be able to have goals from the run of play in different areas, and that's one thing that concerns me. But hopefully, we don't have too many, I guess, dry spells as it pertains to our strikers that it becomes a problem. But we'll see how that pans out. Just to quickly finish off on this game, because I think there's a lot to talk about in today's game. Benfica moves on to the next round of the Taça de Portugal, which is the round of 16. We leave Paços behind. There's still quite a big teams in the pot. So I don't know when the draw is next. I did see the group of teams today. So I would imagine within the next week or so that the draw will take place. In that game, we had goals from Everton again, which tomorrow, for those of you who watch the podcast at 3:30 Boston time, we have to eat a Savola because that's the pact that we made. So I can't wait for that. Seth scored on his return after a long injury, and we'll get into him today. But he came in for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, and he had an impact. He scored that second goal, which was the winning goal, and then it just kind of opened things up for the team. Rafa scored, and Everton scored as well. So all around, much better second half, or I guess much better final 15 minutes where we were able to take our opportunities. But overall, I didn't think it was a game that we didn't play well. It was just one of those games that you kind of hit everything but the back of the net until that one went in, and then it kind of opened things up for us. So if you had to pick an MVP, Oscar, who would yours be?
It has to be Grimaldo. Just opening up that goal alone and opening up the game, opening up like by scoring that free kick, it has to be Grimaldo. If it wasn't for that goal, I don't think we would have won this game.
I agree. Bill, do you agree?
Yeah, I think he had a good game overall, but that free kick definitely changed the game. And I mean, the free kick alone is a worldie. Like that, you're not going to see much better free kicks than that. Yeah.
And just to be different, in my after the final whistle article, after the post match, my positives were Seth scoring in his return, and then my other positive was the substitutions. Right, a lot of times we've criticized JJ for his substitutions not having an impact, and I know we talked about it in the chat. It was a win or go home game, right? So you kind of have to take that risk, and we'll get into that a little bit further down the line. But JJ essentially breaks up the formation 2 times in that game with the substitutions that he makes, right? He starts with a back 3, and then he goes to a back 4, and then he essentially plays a 4-2-4 at the end, right? And again, he has to throw everything at them, right? Because you lose, you go home. But there's been many times that we've had games where we needed to win, and, he stuck with the front 3, right? Or he didn't get too adventurous, right? So again, as I said in the article, I will be there to criticize him when the criticism is required and needed. But I also think that, where I think there should be some merit given, I'll be there to give that merit as well. So I just wanted to highlight that. Moving on to today, Benfica 0 or Barcelona 0, Benfica 0. We go into the Camp Nou in third place of our group. Knowing that a defeat puts us out of the Champions League, a victory puts us in control of our own fate, and a draw requires us to depend on Bayern Munich to not lose to Barcelona in the final game, as long as we do our part and win our game against Dynamo Kiev at home in about 2 weeks' time. A game that I thought first 20 minutes, Barcelona was better. They controlled the game. They played in our midfield. They had a chance at the beginning from Demir, who shot it. The shot's going wide. It deflects off Vertonghen. It comes in a little bit, and Audi saves it with his fingertip, but the shot's still going wide. If he doesn't save it, the ball's going slightly wide. Apart from that, in in the first half, I would argue that Benfica had the most clear-cut chance with that header from Yaremchuk at the top of the 6. That anywhere else that ball goes, it's a goal, right? And it just happened to go straight at the goalie, and he was able to keep it out. And then in the second half, I thought after the 20, opportunities to get on the ball a little bit more.
Your audio's cutting out.
Can you hear me?
Or is it just me?
Yeah. Now you can.
Oh, and then in the second half, I thought that we played well. We held our own. I thought the substitutions had an impact, and I thought that our most creative player, Rafa, was non-existent, which I think hurt us. And then, of course, the miss at the end, which completely feels like we lost and not drew. Bill, I'll start with you. Thoughts on this game today?
I thought we did well in the first half to kind of weather the storm at the beginning. Barca did. I think they came out with the intent to try to score in those first 10, 15, 20 minutes. And Benfica did well to kind of sit back and absorb the pressure and kind of settle into the game. And I think once we settled into the game, I think we might have created more clear-cut chances than Barca did in that first half. And then the second half, I think it was more pretty pretty even. And then, I mean, that Seth miss, and I missed it live. I took JJ to go get a haircut, so I missed that live.
You're lucky.
And when I got home, I went and found the clip of it, and I still don't understand how that doesn't, like, how he misses that after doing the hardest part, which was like chipping the keeper to get it over him, and misses the wide open net,
which I think was a mistake. I don't think he meant to. I think he got so flustered that he was so by himself.
I don't know.
Chipped him by mistake.
I don't know if he was trying to chip him to like chip and shoot, or if like he was just trying to get it over him. So he had like, I don't know what he was trying to do.
It's called. He got super nervous. It was the moment, and he just absolutely fucked it up.
Yep.
And then he just shit himself. He shit his pants when he realized the net was wide open, and he could have ended it right there.
The pressure that got to him absolutely got to him. I don't think he knew what he was doing. I don't think if you pass, shoot, chip, I think he just
because he had Darwin wide open to the right. So I bet that like sort of.
But the ball,
but there's no goalie. I mean, you don't pass that ball. You don't pass that ball. You shoot it in the net. You put it in the net.
100%.
But on top of that, it's on his strong foot. It's on his left foot.
It's on his left.
And he gets that ball like almost right at the entrance of the box, right? So it's not like the goalie's coming to close him. Like he's got time one-on-one with the goalie. And I still think he messed up, chipped the goalie, and it worked out fine, and then panicked. And like he like stabbed at it with the bottom of his foot.
Yeah. It didn't even hit. It wasn't even like a toe ball. It was just like a studs.
Like, yeah, like hit with the studs. Yeah. Disappointing. Oscar, what were you saying?
I'll be honest. Looking at this game, we like all right, before the Champions League even like got started. We knew the group stage. We knew what we got for the groups. If somebody told me you're going to play Barcelona, you're going to win one game and tie the other in Camp Nou, I'll sign off right now.
All right, 100%.
All right, so and we all knew that against Bayern was a slim chance of us getting anything out of those games. So like so far to me, what I'm pissed about, and I've said in many podcasts, is our tie in Dinamo. Because our tie in Dinamo basically puts everything in our hands for this last game. All right. If we had won the game in Dinamo and we beat Dinamo at home, if we tie Barcelona and beat Barcelona, we go through. Like there's no questions about it. Now we have to depend on Bayern to beat Barcelona at home when they already qualified and have nothing to play for, and they have Borussia Dortmund to play against right after that game. So they're going to be playing all their B team to save the players for their big game, which is Borussia's in second place in Germany, I believe, right? So they need to play their strong team against that game. So I don't know. If Barca gets a point out of Bayern, we're out, right?
No. If we win, Barcelona has to win.
Yeah.
Got it. Because if we tie in
We have
points,
the
we advance because head to head.
We have the head to head.
All right.
So Barcelona has to win, like with the expectation that we win at home.
Right, because if we need to win, we
Correct.
have to win.
We have to win.
Like
no matter what, we have to win.
Correct.
Any chance for us to go forward, we have to win.
Correct.
So now, even if we tied, we're still in Europa League.
Correct.
The good thing is about this game is it guarantees us Europa League.
No matter what, we're in Europe.
No matter what happens in the last game.
Correct.
So, but now it sucks that because of that game in Kiev that I've preached about that we had to win. We had to win. We depend on Bayern to win against Barcelona. I would sign off on these games against Barcelona 100%. I absolutely love that Benfica played against Barcelona. I don't agree with the lineup. I don't, just because Yaremchuk has been so this is what I don't understand Jesus, and this is where my criticism goes against Jesus. Like against Barcelona is a game, just like I praised them when we played against Barcelona the first game at home, where we played speed in the sides with Darwin and Rafa. When we play Everton, it's to hold the ball. We complained about it today. I heard Kenny say something about it today. Everton, why wait? Why hold the ball? Why come back? Why not go forward? Why not attack? Why stop the play? Because we're playing counterattack against a team that has 65% possession, right? So we're playing counterattack. Everton is not there to play counterattack. He's there to hold the ball. I guess against Paços, perfect. He should play those games because we have all the possession. We need a guy like Everton to break through the guys defending with 10 guys, right? But not against a Barcelona where they have all the possession and they're pushed up the field. We need players like Darwin that are fast, right? Look at when Darwin came in today. You could see the difference. But
that's late in the game, so it's a different impact.
Yeah, but look at the first game. It was in the second minute.
Correct, but I think that game's very different because of the early goal as well. But I would say, and just to interrupt you quickly, is I agree with the Yaremchuk take, right? Like, would we have been better off to have Darwin in there from the start? Maybe, right? Because he's able to get those balls in behind. But the only thing I can think of is JJ's thinking is they're going to come in hot right from the start, right? So we need to weather the storm. We're not going to have much ball, right? And let's hope that Yaremchuk can hold the ball up for us as much as we can to let the team catch up. And then in the second half, when Barcelona, hopefully the result is in our favor, Barcelona is going to kind of turn the screw and try to open up a little bit more. And then we bring in Darwin with fresh legs and try to take advantage of that, which it almost and should have worked. But unfortunately it didn't. But that's the only thing that I can think of. But I agree with you that Yaremchuk's been on a cold streak. I would have probably just switched him for Darwin, but I don't, I guess, disagree with the mindset, right? But you're also playing with the what ifs, right? Because if you hold on to him and then you're losing, right, then it completely alters the game, right? But it's a chance that you take, but I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically my how I feel about this game. I felt like we needed to have more of a counter-attack team, just like we did in the first leg. I believe that team in the first leg was perfect for the kind of system that Barcelona plays because they have the possession.
Even more so when we're playing away, right? We're playing at Camp Nou. We're not gonna. There's no expectation that we're gonna go in there and go toe to toe in possession with Barca, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Now I agree with Oscar. That was from the starting 11. That was my only kind of question mark why he starts with Yaremchuk. When you set up the team, you would expect to set up the team the same as you did at home, right? Weather the storm, hit them on the counter. And to hit them on the counter, you got to have pace top to be able to go quick.
Was it just me, or did we see Rafa on the left side and Everton on the right at some point?
I made notes.
They kept switching. They
kept switching.
But Rafa, I think Barca came in with like a game plan against Rafa because he had no space.
Anytime but even when he did, his decision making, like he just looked off. Like his body language, a couple of times I noticed, like he just looked completely off. I don't know if it's tired, if he has a knock. I don't know what the case was, but he didn't look himself.
Far from his, he was far
but
from.
Given the space that we had at times to break, if he was on one of his days, like he could have easily fucking tore them apart a couple of times. But his just decision making wasn't good. I'm gonna propose these two questions to you guys. Oscar, I'll start with you. SLBES says here, we played for the tie. It was clear that the team was happy to let Barca have possession of the ball. Do you agree that we played for the tie?
I don't. I mean, if we played for a tie, we wouldn't put Seth in the last 10 minutes of the game.
With Darwin already on.
With Darwin already. Yep. We took off Grimaldo, I believe.
Yep.
To put Seth.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're playing for the tie. I think we're playing to get the late win. And by putting Seth and taking out Grimaldo, that right there says it all. Like you don't put a striker, take out a defender to play for a tie.
And JJ said in his press match conference that he took Grimaldo out knowing that Darwin wasn't going to help defend on the left side where Dembele was on, right? And I thought Lazaro played a hell of a game when he came in.
He played well.
I thought he played really well. I think Dembele only got to the line once, which was the cross that went over Odysseus and Gilberto hit it out for a corner kick. But apart from that, I thought he controlled him really well.
Yeah.
And I think JJ gets credit for that sub because he doesn't just do a straight swap, right? He doesn't bring Lazaro in for Grimaldo. He pushes Grimaldo up, knowing that Grimaldo will help defensively on that side, which Everton and Rafa, I mean, as much as they work, they're not going to give you the same defensive effort that Grimaldo will on that side.
Oscar, just to finish this one off, SLBES says, yes, late win after trying to hold the game for 75 minutes. Right. So you don't think that we played for the tie. Are you content with the way that we approached it? Right. I think we all agree that we weren't going to go there and play balls to the wall. Right. Just because the fact that a win is great, but we just can't lose. Right. And I think that us going there trying to play open football with a team that theoretically wants to finish it today. Right. Because they don't want to have to go to Munich depending on needing to win there. Are you happy with kind of the way that we went into it and then kind of throw everything at them in the final 15, 20 minutes?
Like I said, I would wish we had started differently, with more of a counterattack mentality, just like we did in the first game. I don't like the we basically put a team into play with possession. Like that's how I look at it when I saw the starting 11. But I'm happy with the result. I was scared when Seth came in, and I was scared when Mario went out, when Tarap came in. Those subs scared me. They worked out for us because we could have easily won the game at the end, but with Seth. But I personally wouldn't do those subs because it's too much of like a risk. If we lose this game, we're out. Yep. And if we lose this game, not only are we out, but we could possibly get out of Europe.
Correct.
So to me, it was a big risk, and I don't blame him for taking it because he wanted to just finish it today, but it could have gone the wrong way.
No, I agree.
Because let's talk seriously right here. OTAMENDI saved us after those subs were made. OTAMENDI saved us from losing this game.
Yeah, he had some crucial
that especially when the pay cuts back and he comes in from behind and just slices him.
Yep.
That save right there is a game winning.
He's on
the Dembele one
more. Well, he has one more yellow, and he would have missed the next match.
Yeah,
I mean, he had enough fouls that could have gotten him a yellow, but the ref didn't.
Yeah. But just to touch on that point from SLBES, I mean, there's not many teams in the world that are going to go into Camp Nou and boss Barcelona, right, and go toe to toe with them, right? Even this Barca that's not as good as we've seen in the past, right? They're still going to possess the ball, and they're still going to play the way they always play. And I think JJ went into that game with the game plan, just like we had in that first game. And you sit back, weather the storm, and pick your moments to attack and go forward. And I'm like Oscar, I questioned the lineup, but the way we played and the approach to the game, I think it's what we had to do. And I thought we did it well, and we could have very, very easily have left Camp Nou with 3 points and had our ticket almost punched to the next round.
I agree. And this is kind of mixing some of the topics here, but Nelson says Yaremchuk fez trabalho imenso, mas o esquema não o favorece. Yaremchuk com o Jonas ao lado marcava 35, 40 golos por ano. We talked about Yaremchuk. He hasn't scored since that game against Vitória Sport Club in Guimarães for the league, where we won 3-1. He's a player that works his socks off. One thing that I noted, and I made a note of it during the game, was for a player of his size, what I would like to see more is when we play the ball out to him to be able to play with his back to goal, protect the ball, let the team catch up, and then kind of distribute. And I made a note here that the 2 chances that Barcelona has in that first half come from him giving the ball away cheaply, right? And one thing that I've noticed is he's not, or at least recently, when he's playing with his back to goal, he's not as strong as you would expect given his size. I feel like Darwin's a little bit better at that and using his body and kind of being able to get around defenders. But Bill, wanted to get your thoughts on kind of Yaremchuk. Do you think that he's isolated by himself and he needs someone alongside him? Do you think it's just a matter of getting adapted and kind of giving him some time?
I think it's probably all of the above, right? Like I don't think coming in from a different league into Portugal, you don't see too often a guy come in and right away have like no issues adapting to the league and getting off to a flying start. There's always going to be some period of having to adapt to the league and to your new team. I don't disagree that he works his tail off. I just, like Oscar said a million times, right? A striker is only like the one thing we're going to look at a striker is his goals, right? Is he putting them away when he has chances? And he's had a few and he hasn't been able to put them away. He is working his tail off. Like I'll give him that. But the point you made with him playing with his back to the goal and kind of holding it up, it was funny that first Barca game, I think I may have like credited him for how well he played.
He played back to goal really good.
Yeah, and then from that point on,
yep,
that like type of play has disappeared. Like today, there was a few times he should have done it, right? Just receive the ball, try to hold it up, and wait for someone to get up there with him, and he tries to turn and take the defender on, and he's a big guy and he's quick for his size, but he's not Rafa fast or Darwin fast. Like I don't know why he was attempting to take a defender one-on-one when he didn't have any kind of support at that point. Just kind of get the ball, hold it. And I think that might have been JJ's kind of mentality with putting him in, right? Have him up top, we clear it, him hold it, let Rafa and Everton get up and support, but it didn't work out.
Did you guys see the I think it was Everton that passed it. It was like Yaremchuk was way ahead, and Everton passed it across. The guy defender had time to come across and cut in front of him. Like I thought
it was right after Everton nutmegged the guy, right?
Yeah.
In the midfield.
Yeah.
But I will say that I thought Everton made a bad decision in that play.
Yeah, but from where I saw Yaremchuk in the first game, when we took the defender on, you saw some speed on him. I'm like, he's gonna get to this. And then I was like, what the hell, man? That guy is.
You're thinking about the game against Bayern when he goes by Upamecano.
Yeah. Like he legit like goes. He was. Yeah. I thought he was fast, and then I'm like, what the hell happened? I thought this guy was gonna get to it and get on a chance to score, but no, he didn't get down time.
I remember that one, and he like pointed for it too.
Yeah.
The second Darwin got past him, he pointed for the ball like he wanted it through, and Everton played it and fucking looked like Biggie running out there.
Can we just reminisce a little bit? Who do we all say will be our disappointment for the season?
Shit, I don't even remember. I think mine was Vertonghen, actually.
No, Kenny's was Vertonghen. I think you said somebody else.
I think mine was him too.
Was it?
And Everton, I think, was my breakout.
Yeah, I think Everton. I'm thinking. I think I might have
yours
said
was Oscar.
Yaremchuk.
Really?
Was my disappointment, and not because I think he's a bad player. I think I saw in Yaremchuk what I saw in Seferovic when he first came in. He started off with a hot streak, scoring a few goals, and then he went on a drought for like months. Remember? And then he became our fourth striker.
Yep. Like
that's what I saw in Yaremchuk, and he can prove me wrong, and I hope he does. I hope he scores. He comes off this drought and scores a bunch of goals. But man, I don't know. Just
hopefully it's a positive ending. I know that Nelson says here, or is it não podemos fazer ao Yaremchuk o que se fez ao Raul de Tomás. I agree. I actually liked
me too.
but I
did too.
But I also think that was different. Like, I think he didn't adapt well, and he didn't like it.
Well, I also think he was
Portugal.
playing out of position. He was playing behind Seth, where I thought
Yeah.
the role should have been reversed. I thought he should have been the guy. I mean, he's on the Spanish national team.
He also
yeah.
wanted it out. So I mean, they kind of
No, but we the fans, Benfica fans are very harsh, man. They're harsh, and
Dude, it's not just Benfica fan. There's going to be everywhere.
I know, but
like
I know it is.
But when
look,
you essentially break your transfer record, right? Like he was one of the
but
at the time he might have been the highest. No,
impossibly. But look, who's the highest for Sporting this year or ever?
Paulinho.
Okay, and what's he been doing? And do you see Sporting?
Yeah.
Do you see Sporting fans criticize him like we did to Raul Tomás?
Paul does, but
yeah,
no.
but like you don't see the
know
fans
better.
who, dude, they just won the Campeonato with him.
They don't know how much they spent for him.
Yeah, but all I gotta say is like we
Guaranteed,
fans,
you go around and ask like 90% of Sportingistas don't know how much they actually spent for him.
I guess we don't know how much we pay for our players either. We sold Garay for $3 million.
Well, we didn't have full control over his pass, but yeah, that was a dodgy negotiation. Oscar, good thing that you bring that up. But before I'm going to mention my next comment, if anyone in the chat wants to join us and jump in and share their thoughts about today's game or an individual performance, I'm going to put a link in the chat. You can jump in and just use your audio. You can do audio and video if you choose. But feel free to jump in and give us your thoughts and we can chat a little bit. Oscar, you mentioned Benfica fans and being harsh. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at social media, but I fear that this is going to be one of those situations where Seth's going to have to shut off comments and such on his social media. And listen, and Kenny, and I'm going to bring up the conversation that we had in our chat because I know Kenny's not here to defend himself and he can do it next week. But right, Kenny's reaction was, I want him gone. That's not acceptable, blah, 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 right? And just a few words. But there's no one on this planet that is more frustrated with the result of that play than Seth. I would probably guarantee that. Or, that's the last thing that he wants, right? Professional soccer player has that opportunity to win the game in the final seconds, coming back from an injury, scored last game, to be able to come in again today and decide a Champions League match at the Camp Nou. It happens, right? Are we happy about it? Obviously not, right? But I think this mindset of like crucifying him immediately, like I think is a bit extreme, right? Like, who knows? Against Kiev, right? He could be the one that unblocks everything for us, right? And could be the one that books our place into the next round, right? Like, we don't know, right? But he's also given us a lot of goals that we've needed, right? He was our leading scorer a few years ago. Last year, second half of the season, he scored a shit ton of goals. I just want to get your thoughts, and I know what your opinion is, Oscar, but we can chat about it here, and people in the chat, feel free to give us your opinion. But I think it was a miss. It's nothing more than that. It was a miss. It was one opportunity. We move on. And I think this mindset of like crucifying and he needs to go and he sucks and this, that, and the other thing, I think is a bit extreme. And Oscar, I'll let you start with this one.
No, I agree with that. Seth is not a world-class striker. We all know that. We all know that he needs 8 chances to score 2 goals. We know that. But he's been our best striker for the last 3 years. Like, we can't dispute that because the numbers speak for themselves. So when a guy is hurt for 3-4 months and then he comes back into the squad, breaks the deadlock that we had against Paços to get us a win, to get us through to the next round, right? And then he has a miss like this. I get it. It's probably one of the worst misses of his life, right? But like, we can't crucify him and say he has to be. He's dead for us. He's not 1 more minute for Benfica. Like, to me, that's an exaggeration, and that brings me back to players that have like played well, have done so much for Benfica, and then a few bad games and they're trash. Or they can't play for Benfica. They're like são vacas rebentadas, blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking about Pizzi too. Like, Seferovic has done a lot for Benfica. The fans need to respect what he's done for Benfica. So one miss like this, we can't hang the guy. We just can't. As Benfica fans, that's all I was trying to say. We are very harsh. We are very hard on players that have sweat their balls off for Benfica, and have done great things for Benfica in the past. Like, I get it. If they're not doing that well, sit them on the bench. But when they come in, don't crucify them. Don't crucify them, because this is what happens when you do. And then Seferovic goes into the drought because of this, the fans booing him.
Yeah, I agree. If there's a time where he needs the fans to be behind him, as much as we are frustrated and annoyed with how that ended, it's now, right? Like, us crucifying him isn't going to make things better. And Bill, I'm going to pass it to you, but this comment made me laugh because Tony says Saif. And I'm laughing because we played with a guy, and Oscar did as well. His name was Saif, and he was terrible.
Oh my God, he was horrible.
So it's funny reading it that way. Saif needs to play for him to score. He needs minutes, but he's there all the time. Saif scored against Biggie from midfield.
Yeah, a toe ball too.
But I understand you meant Seth. SLBES says JJ crucified him publicly. I don't know if he crucified him, right? He said he's never seen a goal missed like that in his 30 years of soccer. Like, I don't think that's crucifying him. I think
but that is in a way, because I've seen worse goals being missed. There was a player there that kind of distracted Seferovic from obviously tapping into the net. I've seen Fernando Torres, which is probably at the highest level, one of the best strikers at his time, right? Miss an open netter for Chelsea, or maybe in the Champions League as well. I'm not sure. I know it was a very high game. Was it
United?
Whatever it was, I know it was
against United.
Yeah, and he missed an open netter,
and then
completely open netter. So like, players like, and he's not in, and you can't compare Seth to Torres at his prime. So like, dude, that happens.
I agree. Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think if there's any time a player needs support from the fans, it's now for Seth. Like, as much as we bash on him for missing that opportunity, like, he knows it. Like, the second he missed it, I'm sure it went through his head like, Jesus fucking Christ, I just fucking missed this. And like,
there's a picture from the backside of where Benfica was defending down the field, and literally everyone is like, hands on their head, hands on their knees, head on the ground, like complete 100% disbelief.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone, like, if there was the same view of him once he got past the goalie, I'm sure everyone was like this, ready.
Oh, probably.
And like, I'd like, it sucks, right? Like, he missed it, he fucked up. He knows it. Like, it's not fucking lost on him. Like, he's gonna feel that one for a while. But I agree. I think we can criticize the miss and still support him and kind of want him to stay on the team. Like, I don't think Benfica should sell him. Like, I think he can still be a useful striker for us, right? Like, one of the three. Just rotate. If you're rotating the three, like, he's still one of our top strikers.
Bill, he's probably our best striker right now. Like,
I don't know about that, but
because no, I'm talking about goals wise, because he's been using Darwin as our left wing, right? Like, Rafa on the right, Darwin on the left, and sometimes push him into the middle when one of the strikers comes out. Yeah. But if you think Yaremchuk and Seth has been scoring goals.
Oh yeah, I mean, Seth scored one.
Yeah, but he just came back right now.
And Yaremchuk hasn't scored in months. So yeah,
right.
I mean, yeah, but I agree with, like, we've all had our frustrations with Seth. Like, he does tend to miss more than he scores. But I hate seeing when, like, players, like, Darwin had to do it earlier, like, turn off your social media account. Like, it just that part of it's stupid. Like, as a fan, you can criticize the miss, right, and be pissed about it, but to go to the points where, like, you need to go on social media and like threaten the guy or
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, like that's just stupid. Like that there's no the place in the game for this. Like that's just stupid. But I mean, guaranteed the second he realized it didn't go in, and he feels 10 times worse than any of us do.
Yeah, I agree. Tony says, I still want to see the replay from the goal line that the ball was out of bounds that we scored. I actually have that picture up here for you. Let me show you, Tony.
We're all with you on the same one, bro.
Yeah,
none of us believed it.
Yeah, we didn't believe it, but I got a video of someone at the stadium who was down the line. And from this video or this image, it looks to me that it goes out of bounds. I was of the opinion that it didn't look like it went out of the bounds from the camera angle that they gave us, but that camera angle was more this guy here.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't that good. And the linesman, to be honest, isn't really in a great position to make that call either.
That's what was pissing me off. When I saw the replay, the linesman he was in the corner, and the second Everton ran up to the ball, he took his step to the left, like to stay in line with the back line of Barca. How the hell can he make that call if he's
it may have been more obvious, right? Because that ball's now coming back in at that point.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
So it may have been further out, but I'm with you, Tony, and I think we all are, that we were thinking, did we just get robbed another goal like we did against Bayern Munich? I'm still of the opinion that whoever drew those lines was not very good. SLBES says we need a VAR picture. They don't have a camera angle down the goal line, so we're not going to get a VAR picture, unfortunately. So that's the best that we have, but I think that, I guess, hopefully settles the uncertainty. I think that shows us that the ball was out of bounds. One other thing or two other things that I wanted to touch on in this game.
Wait, can we talk about the Otamendi finish though? Holy shit!
Dude, hell of a strike.
Dude,
left-footed.
I was like, okay, there's a chance gone, right? And then Otamendi shoots that ball. Like, I was like, dude, this is insane. And then the guy was celebrating like he just had won a World Cup. And man, taking that goal back was just hurt me. It hurt me a lot. I wish it counted.
I was pretty excited. Just like I will say that when Seth missed that goal at the end, my son was Santi was legit, like, he didn't even, like, he was in a state of panic. Like, he had never seen me like that. He basically was like frozen in his tracks, staring at me, looking at my wife like, what's wrong with him? Trisha was like, what the hell's going on? I was like beside myself.
I'm glad I didn't see it, because on that Otamendi goal, I'd lost my shit and was running around the house, and my daughter was crawling around, like, looking at me like I was an idiot. I would have, if I had seen that miss, I might have smashed my phone like that.
SLBES, there is no goal line censor in the Champions League.
No.
Wait, no goal line censor within the posts? I thought there was no goal line at the end lines, but not the inside inside the goals. There's censor.
Correct. Yes.
In Champions League, I thought that was only in.
No, there's a sensor inside the post. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they use the Hawkeye. I don't think it's a sensor inside the post.
Yeah, the Hawkeye. Yeah.
I thought that was only EPL though.
Yeah. But they have like the hot sensor where like the ball crosses, you see the green through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, two things that I wanted. I guess three things here. One, actually, it might be four. Let me go in order here. One, we've talked a lot about Grimaldo, and I think that over the course of the last 3-4 games, like, he's been growing in performance. And I thought today, all right, taking out Otamendi, I would argue that he, along with Gilberto, I thought Grimaldo played a hell of a match, defensively and offensively. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I think that guy, when the thing is, this system works for Grimaldo like a glove. Like, if he had to play a back four, and I think somebody here in the comments said the back four, like 4-4-2, would have been the best way for the striker. Yes, because you play with two strikers. But for the system that we have with Grimaldo and I know Diogo Gonçalves is hurt, but if we use Diogo Gonçalves or even what's his name, Lázaro. These guys are better offensively than defensively. So a 3-back helps these guys to, like, peak, right? And Grimaldo, when playing this kind of like a wide wing type of position, is where he excels. I think that's where we need him to play, like this formation for Grimaldo to excel. And look at what he's doing. He's performing at top level right now.
Yeah, Bill. Anything else you'd add to that?
No, I agree, and I didn't hate. I mean, I loved the move of when he brought Lazaro in and moved Grimaldo up. We saw it last year with Porto, essentially, right? He brought Tavares in and had Grimaldo play as one of the wingers or forwards, and Tavares was the left back. And I think doing essentially the same thing, but with Lazaro, kind of locks down that flank, right? You have essentially two defenders. Lazaro, I think, is better defensively than Grimaldo, and Grimaldo obviously is head and toes above better than Lazaro attacking and going forward.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Lazaro is good.
I think Grimaldo is so much better going forward.
I think he's good, but I don't think he's way better than him going forward. I would.
But I like the move, right? Like if that's something to come, right? Like I do think like that kind of setting up that way, I think it's a nice option to have, and I think Lazaro has been a nice little pickup because he can play on either side, and his first step he's quick as hell. Like he's not the fastest guy, but those first few steps he's quick and he's a very solid defender.
I'll tell you guys one thing. Not talking leaving Grimaldo's, but like Gilberto. If you give Gilberto Diogo Gonçalves cross, Gilberto is our starter in that position, hands down.
Defensively, I think he's really grown a lot.
And he's up and down, like nonstop.
You know who he reminds me of? And he's not the same player, but it's just like the style and his grit. And
I know you're gonna say
Moxie.
Yeah,
dude. Just like you saw today against Jordi Alba, like just throwing him around, bodying him, just getting stuck in. Like he's not the flashiest player, he's not the quickest, he's not the most technical, but he fucking works his tail off. And it reminds me so much of Maxi Pereira.
And remember, we talked shit about Maxi at the beginning too, because he was a midfielder adapted to right back, and we talked shit about him because what the hell? But this guy sucks. Get him, and then he became what he became. So Gilberto could be a guy like that too.
He was that guy. I used to laugh at Maxi because it looked like his arms were moving so fast, but his body wasn't going anywhere. And Gilberto, I get the same sense because he's not very fast, but he's got good control. Like when he's in tight spaces, he's able to like switch between feet and kind of navigate his way out. But I agree. I think that I was definitely one of the ones who criticized him heavily. But I must admit, he's starting to grow on me. I think defensively, he gives us more assurances than probably anyone on the team on the right-hand side. Offensively, right, he's not as capable. He'll get up and down the line, but his decision making, right, I feel like he's gassed by the time he gets up there, right? Because that's just not the type of player he is, right? He's not a Diogo Gonçalves that's going to do that whole line. He's not, a quick player. But defensively, I think he gives us a hell of a lot more assurances. And who was it? Nelson says here, o Dembélé passou por ele todas as vezes, tal como o Coman tinha feito em Munique e na Luz. I will say that não há muitos defesas consigam parar Coman ou Dembélé com a velocidade que tenham constantemente. And he said, não sabe defender contra gajos rápidos, tem-se de encostar com jogadores velozes. O Gilberto faz isso na perfeição. O Gilberto também levou com um jogador diferente do lado esquerdo, do lado esquerdo do Barcelona, right? Jordi Alba is quick, but he's not a Kingsley Coman. He's not a Dembélé who's just quick going at you one-on-one, right? So you got to make quick decisions. Lazaro, on the other hand, he's quick. I thought he managed it really well and forced them outside. So different types of players. But yes, we all know.
Is Lazaro a righty or lefty? He's lefty?
He's a righty.
I think he's
but he can play on both sides. I think he can use both feet, but he's naturally on the right.
It's crazy to look at our outside back situation this year and the options we have, when historically we've come into the season always complaining about how we only have like one option. If we lose it, we're fucked. Whereas this year we have on the right side, we have three legitimate options, right? We have Lazaro can play there, Gilberto can play there, Diogo Gonçalves, André Almeida could play out there if you wanted to. And on the left,
I can see actually
on the left we have Grimaldo, Lazaro,
Gil Diaz.
Gil Diaz.
He's hurt, right? Is he still hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
he's
I mean,
not
we
on the
have
Champions League roster.
Yes. Okay. But I mean, we have options, which is we've never, as far as back as I can remember, we never have any good, solid backup options for our outside back. It's always been the starters, and then if they get hurt, we're fucked.
Yeah, and Nelson mentions Radonjic. He's played there before.
played-
I would rather him not play there, at least against teams that are going to have the ball, but he gives us that ability to play that whole side as well.
Yep.
I think we found. I think Jesus will use Andre Almeida as our third center back.
Yep.
I mean, he said he wanted to do that last year until he got hurt, right? That
Yeah.
was his plan, right? And I thought there were people that I saw that said, like the guy on the radio was saying, I was listening to the Drought while I was watching the game, and the guy on Antena was saying, Andre Almeida não fez assim bom jogo, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't see nothing wrong.
I disagree with it. I thought he played a hell of a game in comparison to in regard to how long he's been out.
Yep.
He didn't make any mistakes that I can recall that stood out that said, what the hell are you doing? He's a different type of player. But again, I think he gives you certain assurances back there that maybe some players don't, right? The experience factor, right? Morato, yes, he's come in and done well, but I think the reason that Andre Almeida played there is because he's not forced to move Otamendi to the right, put Vertonghen in the middle, right? And then kind of moving all those pieces around, right? I think Vertonghen and Grimaldo have a good partnership over there. I prefer Otamendi in the middle as kind of leading line.
And Andre Almeida is used to playing a right back position, so he can if Gilberto goes up or whoever's on the right side goes up, he's able to slide into those spots and defend those spots. I think it's a good option.
And there's always been one of those like utility type players. Like I remember there was one game against Porto he started at right back, ended up playing like center mid.
He's naturally a midfielder, holding midfielder.
Yeah, like they've used him in so many, multiple coaches have used him in a bunch of different positions. I think he's one of those players that can easily move him between like 4 or 5 different positions. And I think I said it before the game, I would have started Andre Almeida just for the experience reason, right? Going into Camp Nou, it's not, I mean, it blew my mind that it wasn't sold out. Like I get Barca struggling.
They sold a lot of tickets.
Like I get that. Like it just blew my mind that it was like there was so many empty seats. Like I understand Barca struggling and all that going on. But like bringing back Xavi, I figured would have gotten the fans behind him and it would have been sold out. But that blew my mind. But I think
the weather didn't help.
Yeah.
And good point to remind me is shout out to the almost 3,000 Benfica fans that weathered the storm. They made themselves heard. Shout out to Miguel from the UK who was our representative for Cantinho Benfiquista at the game, was there with the flag. So shout out to him and everyone else that was there because it was cold. It was wet. Not ideal conditions to be at a match, but as they say, faz chuva, faz sol, faz neve, right? We're always there. So shout out to them. It would have been nice to cap that trip off with a 92nd minute victory, but unfortunately Destiny didn't have that in its cards. How are we feeling about making it through? We've talked about this before, but now we're one game away. Oscar, I'm going to start with you. How do you feel about our chances to get through the next round?
All right. I hope it doesn't come down to this, but I hope Dynamo Kiev's game does not basically hurt us in the end. That was my biggest thing from the beginning, is this game is going to bite us in the ass. I hope I'm wrong. And hopefully Bayern thinks of Barcelona as a bigger danger in the final stages of Champions League and actually plays a solid team than Benfica. So they're like, let's get these guys out of here. So I think if I'm to, because we still have to win our game. It's not like Bayern needs to beat Barcelona and then we're in. No, we still have to beat Dynamo at home. And if we don't beat Dynamo at home, we don't deserve to go to Champions League. I agree. So bottom line. So I think I feel like 60% positive that we might go to the next stage.
Okay.
Hold on, real quick. Before the season, like right after the draw, if anyone had told you we go into the last game against Dinamo needing a win to go through.
We don't need a win to go through. We need Barcelona to lose.
But essentially, we win, we're through, right?
Yeah. No, we're not.
Unless Barca wins.
Dude, come on.
But if anyone tells you that before the game or before any game, you take that 100% of the time.
Listen, as of right now, on our hands is Europa League. That's all we've qualified for so far. And at the beginning of the season, when the Champions League was the draw was made, Europa is where I thought we would be. I think we said it. I think we fall in third place and competing with Barcelona for second. I said that at the beginning because that was the facts. That's what it was. Barcelona was a struggling team this year. They lost their best players, and we are better than Dinamo, and that's where we are. If at the beginning of the season we said we need a win and Barcelona needs to lose to go to, I'll sign off on that right now. But we're still exactly where I thought we would be, in third place.
So a lot of people have been saying, right, like Bayern's going to field a lesser team. Bayern Munich has lost 4 times in the Champions League in the last 4 or 5 years. And if I'm not mistaken, none of those were in the group stage, right? So normally they're progressed into the group stage, game 4. But at home, they don't lose very often, especially in the Champions League. The last year they lost at home against PSG 3-2 in the knockout stages. And then they went to Paris and won 1-0 and knocked PSG out. I get that they don't have anything to play for, but this is the way I'm thinking about it. Bayern Munich is in a position right now that they can say, listen, we have the opportunity to knock out a team that, if given the opportunity, could find their way in a final, right? If things pan out, right?
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Right? So do we want to do our part, right, and get rid of a big player now, right, and hope that Benfica wins at home, right? And we can at least, if either of these teams are going to face us in the final,
they'd rather be Benfica.
Team, they obviously want to play Benfica than Barcelona, right? So I think, despite point-wise it not mattering to them, is that a word? Mattering?
Yeah,
I think it is. It doesn't sound right coming out. I would think that they would have some incentive to say, listen, we have the opportunity to knock a big name out of this competition from the group stage, right? Let's go out there and fucking win, or at least not lose. So, and hope that Benfica does their job. So that's one less team that we have to worry about. So that's how I would assume they would go into it. So I'm going to say that I would say, like, on a 0 to 10, I probably feel an 8, because like you said, I think that if we're not able to beat Dinamo at home, then we don't deserve to be there, right? So I would expect that we beat Dinamo at home. And I think that Bayern may have a little bit more motivation in this game than, the standings in our group might say. Bill, what do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, Bayern's B team, if you will, is probably as good as most starting 11s across the world. Like, even if they were to field a weaker team, I still think they have the capability of beating Barca, especially at home. And I 100% agree with Oscar. Like, if we can't beat Dinamo at home, then we don't deserve to be going through. Like, those were the games that we said right off the bat, like, the Dinamo games that should be 2 wins, right? We fucked up the first one. We didn't get the 3 points. We made up for it with stealing points from Barca, and now we're in a position to where we win and we get Bayern at home against Barca. If they win, then we're through. I think I'm that 75-80% confident that we go through. I just can't, even with the weakened, a lesser Bayern team, which is still very, very good if they're resting guys. Like, I still think they handle Barca at home, no problem.
What if I told you that I'm more nervous about our game against Dinamo than I am at the Barcelona against Bayern?
Really? Do tell us more. Why?
I feel because I see examples like the Paços Ferreira Moreirense game where we probably have all the possession, we probably have all the chances, and we have one of those games that can't fucking put the ball in. And we've had plenty of those examples coming up to this game. And then obviously if one goal goes in, then we have the Braga game, or all the floodgates open. But I'm more nervous about the Dinamo game at home for us to go get out with a win, because look at them, they just played Bayern, they lost 2-1, and Bayern had all their weapons.
They did, but the conditions also weren't in anyone's favor.
Snowstorm.
And look, they went to Barcelona, and they could have won in Barcelona. Like
Kiev, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I think Barcelona scored on their only chance, and it was PK that scored.
And Kiev is not a joke. It's not a team like you can just say, hey, listen, it's a guaranteed win because we're playing at home. We lost to who do we lose to at home? Portimonense. So I'm more nervous about that game because I think Bayern will find one, and even with their C team, they can find one and score. But I'm scared about our game.
But I think that the difference is that Dinamo comes in with nothing to win except money, right? Because they're already out of everything. So I think their mindset coming into this game is going to be very different than the game that they had against us in Kiev, right? Whereas let's hunker down, let's try to get a point, right? A point does nothing for them, right? I think they get 900,000 euros, right? So I would assume that they come in with kind of a free mind and right, like, let's just play our game. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we get some money, which I think could play in Benfica's favor, right? Because I don't think there's any benefit for Dinamo to come to Lisbon to basically play defense like they did in the first game and try to play on the counterattack the entire time. But again, time will tell. But I agree, Oscar. I think there are potentials of us seeing another one of those games, right? Where we're knocking on the door, we're just not scoring our chances, and then we fuck ourselves, right? Like, how bad would it be that we missed the chance today? We, tie the game at home against Dinamo and Barcelona doesn't win. Like, talk about an absolute kick in the nuts that would be, right?
And it would have been exactly what I just read Nelson Silva's comment. Dinamo is not a joke away, not a joke at home. I know that. But coming into this group stage, right, you have Bayern, Barcelona, Dinamo. You obviously, as Benfica fans, Dinamo is the weakest link, right? So that's, if we will have any chance of continuing Europe, we have to beat Dinamo both games. We have to. Just like Sporting had to beat Besiktas, right? And they did. They beat Besiktas both games. Now they're going to be struggling against Ajax and Dortmund, but they did their job. They beat Besiktas. We did something that we were not expected to do. We beat Barcelona 3-0, right? But and that favors us, but that wasn't expected. We were expected to beat Dinamo both games, right? That's expected from Benfica, looking at the group that we had. All right. So anything above that, and Barcelona is going to be our basically direct opponent for second place. So yeah, we had to medir forças with Barcelona, right? We had to go head to head and see who gets the best out of it for second place. But Dinamo was supposed to be both games, but out of this group wins.
Do you think that Nelson says here, just quickly to finish this off? Vejam, o Sporting chega ao quinto jogo com 6 pontos porque jogou os 2 jogos seguidos contra o competidor direto seguidos, which their third and fourth game was against Besiktas. Do you think that had Benfica played Dinamo third and fourth game back to back, that it may have been a different
100%?
You think
100%?
So?
It would have like, or even Barcelona had back to back. Like one of those two, not Bayern, because Bayern, we came into this game, to both the games, thinking it's a loss. So that kills momentum, that kills goal difference. And if we play Bayern last game, like Barcelona is right now, actually, I would not want to be in Barcelona's shoes. But in a way, like, it's better because Bayern's already qualified and all that, and Barcelona needs to win. So it gives Barcelona a better edge of beating Bayern there than when Benfica went there. Because when Benfica went there, everything was still to play for. Bayern, I think at the time, had 3 points or 6 points, whatever it was. When we went there. No, they had 9 when we came to our luge, but they had 6. So everything was still to play for, right? So it was harder for us to go into Bayern and beat them there than it is for Barcelona to go there and beat them now, because they're already qualified and they're nothing to play for.
Yeah, that's a good point. Nelson makes a good point. Barcelona did the same thing. Game 3 and 4 was against Dinamo, right? So they captured.
Exactly.
Right. They went into that third game with 0 points.
Yeah,
They scored 2 goals.
2 goals. Yeah.
All Champions League, and it's 1 goal each game.
5 games. They've got 5 games in the group stage, and they got 2
yeah,
goals.
that's what I mean. They don't score many goals. They don't have the strikers to score those goals, right? Depay to me is not a striker. He's playing that position, but he's not a striker. Luke De Jong is not a striker. To me, he's a Seth times 20. Like he misses goals left and right. So Barcelona doesn't scare me scoring. Is more like what team is Bayern going to put in to beat a Barcelona that's going to have a lot of possession and all that bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. To close this
And
off,
just a note real quick.
Yep.
Bayern plays Dortmund before that Barca game. So there's no...
Who they play after?
Mainz. And that's 4 days later. So I don't see them needing to rest guys for Mainz.
But they're gonna put all the players playing against Dortmund, right? The best players. So you never know what could come out of that game.
Yeah. So Bayern
but
plays.
they're not going to be resting anyone for the next game. That's the thing. Like they could pick up injuries or whatever, but I don't see them like putting out 11 youth team players out there. Like I think it's going to be a mix of their starters and a few guys off the bench.
And they have quite a few injuries. Sula was out. Stanisic is out. Musiala is out. Kimmich is out because of COVID. Gnabry's out because of COVID. Cuisance is out. Choupo-Moting, your favorite Oscar, is out as well. So even some of these guys, like Kimmich wasn't there today. Gnabry wasn't there today. Musiala played. I believe he played against us. Wasn't there. Sula wasn't there. Upamecano wasn't there. Right.
So they're already using their B team.
Correct. So today, I mean, they had Pavard, Nianzou played against us the second game. Hernandez, Davies in the back. Tolisso, who's not a regular, played. Goretzka played. Sane, Muller, Coman, and Lewandowski. Right. So they made 2 changes, 3 maybe at the most in the team, apart from their starting 11. Right. But like even with those changes, right? Like they still were able to go to Kiev. Right. Yeah. Like that 11, I think, is still better than Barcelona's.
Oh right? No. I have no. Yeah. No, as long as Lewandowski plays, I think Bayern scores, right? So just keep the guy playing. Yeah, don't.
Did you see his goal today?
Yeah, insane.
Nice dude.
He's got to be the best striker in the world right now.
He's a machine. Yeah,
he's got to be the best player. In my opinion, he's the best player in the world. Like I think he takes
bold.
the Ballon d'Or easily, in my opinion.
MVP for today, Bill.
No question.
OTAMENDI.
Yeah,
the fucking Stonewall. And okay, let me just point out Oscar call it real quick. There were people that were talking when he first came.
No,
oh, this guy is gonna Agua,
No.
100%.
I said
I think his loan is up after this year, right?
No, he's full. He's got 3 years. This is his second year, but the salary goes up next year.
Let me rephrase what I said at the beginning of this season. Right, I said that I don't agree with him getting the captain armband as a new player that came in, especially because the history he has coming from Porto, right, from being a Portista and talking shit about us. Like giving him the armband, which now I take back. I have no problem taking it back. That guy is probably our biggest signing that we've had this year.
The team right now.
He's absolutely like a machine. I absolutely eat all my words. That's it. I said it. I say it again. I don't agree with him getting the captain armband. Right now, I'll give it to him. I'll take it over anybody else. I'll give it to him. But at the beginning, when he came in 2 games in, he's got the armband. That's what I had a problem with. That's it. Not with a player. I just had a problem with his history coming from Porto, talking shit about Benfica, and then coming 2 games into the Benfica and getting the armband.
You did have a concern about him being from Porto after the Braga goal.
Yeah, I did. And then being captain like that to me too. But fair, you know. But now he's our captain. I have no problem saying he's probably better than Luizão as a captain right now.
I was just gonna say, could you see now what JJ's reasoning for it was, right, in terms of the leadership, in terms of leading by example on the field? Because I thought that's what was the main driver, right? I need someone that's going to have a different mentality and lead by example. And I think he's shown it on multiple times. And I saw it on Twitter, and I think I agree. I don't know if I can remember a Benfica center back having such like a monstrous performance in one game like he did. Like he was a fucking machine today.
No, he's. I see. Like he reminds me of Pep. Like he's identical to the Pep mentality, right?
They played
He's
together, right? At Porto?
yeah, they did. He's rasudo. You can see, you saw what he did against Brazil in the Copa America, like like legit, like he's a Pep, all right? But you saw the game that Pep had for Porto, I believe, against Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, this Champions League, where they said a performance from Pep at 38 years old has never been seen before. The guy's a machine, blah blah blah. That's what I saw in Otamendi today, like a machine. Like those two guys, if they were both Portuguese, there would be no doubt. Ruben Dias is there, but still, Pep and Otamendi would be my starters.
Nelson says Ruben Dias e ele, Otamendi tinham feito uma dupla do
100%.
Guerreirinho. I agree.
Yeah.
That would have been monster center back.
Monsters. Yeah.
So a unanimous decision here on Otamendi.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, let's not take credit. Like you said, Grimaldo had a phenomenal game. I thought Vlaco had a beautiful game. He had some stops that he kept us in the game. You know, we as a team, other than you take a few players like Rafa, though quiet, Yaremchuk was quiet, but like João Mari was somewhat quiet today. He was
dropped in the last couple.
He was also
which worries
injured,
me.
Right? Like he was a doubt until.
I mean, he's a doubt, but if he's able to start the game, then I would imagine that he's not that much of a doubt, right?
Yeah, I thought I didn't see much from Weigl, but he's the type of player. He's like a Busquets. He's quiet, but he does his job, right? The back line to me was on top notch. Like I thought Gilberto, Otamendi, Vertonghen, André Almeida, and Grimaldo.
I thought they were playing
great.
with fire with the high line. Like they kept.
Yeah, but they see
high line. I thought they were playing with fire, but they were
100%.
I'm assuming Otamendi, because he's at the heart of it, is keeping everyone in, and they were fucking on point. As soon as Otto would push, everyone was sliding up, and they had that high line on point today. But I thought at the beginning, I thought they were playing with fire because there's some pacey guys up top for
there's a few. I mean, they take a goal away from Barca. They had 8 offsides. They definitely played the offside trap.
David Pereira says you don't think Grimaldo's a liability defensively at that level. Yeah, I mean we touched on it earlier. I think we all agree that Grimaldo defensively isn't the greatest. Offensively, he's much better.
And
go ahead.
And this is the whole reason why the formation that Jesus is using, the 3-back line, is for Grimaldo to excel. It's to Grimaldo to be a wing back instead of a left back, right? So and I think it plays for Grimaldo's advantage.
Agreed. And I think that in fairness, I think he's been better defensively over the course of the last couple of games. But again, we know what we're going to get with Grimaldo, right? He's not a defensive-minded left back. He's more of a get-forward kind of guy. And like Oscar said, I think that the plan, given the players that he has and the resources that he has available to him, I think that's why JJ wants to play a back 3, because he's got guys that can get up and down the wing, and he can solidify that back line with 3 center backs that can play wide and not have to depend on Grimaldo as much to defend. So, but good shot there, Dave. And to end things off, we are going to have our Fora do Contexto. I got 3 videos here, which I think are interesting, and we will review them and end things on a high note. So, without further ado.
Think it is? Okay.
Oh, wait. Can you guys see the video?
No, I saw Jesus. Take it easy.
Hold on. I got to remove it from the studio. Let me re-add it. Where is it? All right.
Think it is?
Come on.
Okay.
Showing? Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, here we go.
There it is.
Think it is? Okay.
Why is it not?
It's not moving.
Hold on. It might be buffering. Hold on a second. This is going to be upsetting.
Think it is? Okay.
Dude, what is going on?
No idea.
I tested this before. All right, hold on.
Think it is? Okay.
Are you kidding me? This is so annoying.
So what? Explain the video.
You gotta pay the Wi-Fi bill, bro.
Dude.
Vais comer uma cebolada. Oh, there it is.
Ai, caralho.
Tem
Esse
que ir
gajo-
isso?
Já tomba. Eu
Hold
já
on.
tomba.
I'm just going to show the video by itself. Hold on. I got the individual videos here. So let me just bring them up. Oh, that's so annoying. Let me just remove this from the studio. Let me bring up these 3 videos, which I think are interesting. Let's see. What's the first one? Is it no, it's not that one. This one here. So this one first. Actually, I have the video here. Hold on. I'll do this. Hopefully you can. I don't know if it's going to carry the audio, but you'll get the point. Share screen. Window. Here we go. All right. Can you see the video? Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's carrying. Is it carrying the audio or no?
No audio.
No.
Teach your kids to pick their head up when they're dribbling. Toma.
Oh, you.
Oh, look, hey,
Kenny,
Rafa,
hey, this is Kenny in California. Kenny, I hope you're watching. Toma.
Ugh. That's clean tackle, though.
Look at this, dude.
You got the ball.
Yeah, I got the ball in my ass. Look at this.
Oh,
Oh,
where's
my
the ball?
God.
Look, where's the ball? At his feet.
And I didn't want to put this one in this because it's too soon, but
Ay, Maria. I blame the grass. The grass has a hole there.
look at this miss, dude. So bad.
Tem buraco. Olha, a bola dá pulo.
Oh.
Yeah. So
But it's
I'm
what
kind of a-
Campo yeah.
I'm upset that the audio that video didn't work because I tested it earlier, but it is what it is. Technology, when you test it live, that's what happens. So we have a game on Saturday against Besad or Bolin Sad, and hopefully we come away with the win. It's away from home. Thank you to everyone that was in the comments. There was quite a few. Kenny said that's not me, and Seth should be relegated to that league. Hearing Jesus say "take it easy" is good enough, and this guy is such a national treasure from David Pereira. Nelson says quando jogava vi colega de equipa acertar na trave em cima da linha de golo, pá, e a bola saiu. Damn, that's ridiculous. Thanks to everyone that was in the chat. Kenny, Dave, Nelson. Who else was in there? SLBES. We had Tony Martins was in there, a few others. Thank you to everyone that was joining the conversation. Carlos Pereira was in there as well. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Give us a like, give us a share. Check us out on our website, CantinhoBenfiquista.com. We have various articles, pre-match or match previews. We have post-match reviews. Gentlemen, it was just a few of us, but it was a good conversation. And we will be back next week to talk about Besad Benfica, and we will preview Benfica Sporting the Derby. Paul will be here with us, and a debut for Biggie. Biggie's gonna make his debut on the podcast.
Shit.
So,
Oh boy, and what Biggie
Oh,
things
God.
that Biggie says.
Can
By
we
the way,
do this
my-
after 10 o'clock at night? It just makes it that much better. Like,
By the way, my prediction is 3-1 for Benfica against Belenenses.
okay, 3-1 for Benfica. Bill, what's your prediction?
uh,
Let me write this down.
I'm going to go 2-0.
So Oscar says 1-3. Bill says 0-2. I'm going to say 1-0. I think it's going to be a game with some heavy legs potentially after today's game.
Where do they play their games?
Jamord. Shitty field.
In 4 days, so it's not gonna. I mean, they should have enough time to rest.
We'll see. I mean, today was a heavy game, heavy pitch, but we shall see. Oscar did get the prediction today, or he predicted a draw. I think. What did you predict? 1-1.
1-1.
All right, so you at least got the draw.
I said 1-1 too, caralho.
Well, sorry, I forgot. We will be back
Right.
next week. Thank you to everyone. Let me find the video here, and we will chat next week. Viva Benfica. And for those of you who want, tomorrow, 3:30 Boston time, 8:30 Lisbon time, we will be here with the Portuguese podcast with
Eating
João.
cebolada.
Watching a bunch of idiots eating fucking onions.
We got the cebolas for tomorrow. Me, João, Luis, Nuno, and we have Mauro Xavier joining us. He has been part of the CMTV group representing Benfica. He just got involved there. So he's going to join us and share his thoughts. So tune in tomorrow, 3:30, 8:30 Portugal time. And we will catch you guys another day. Good night and talk to you soon.
Viva Benfica.